Welcome to the Little Likac Podcast, episode 80. My name is Amanda and this is a knitting and a little bit of crochet podcast. And yeah, I live in Derby in the UK and I have got quite a few finished objects to show you, quite a lot of new cast-ons and lots of knitting to share today. So if that's something you're into, take a seat, come and join me, pour yourself a coffee, a cup of tea, a gin and tonic, glass of wine, whatever takes your fancy, and you are really welcome. So it is the beginning of November. I had earlier in the year, my plan had been that I would vlog in November like I did last year, which went really well, but I am currently off work, not really able to do very much or go many places and things, and it just doesn't feel right to be vlogging as well when I'm off work and stuff. So yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be back at work from next week. I have got another hospital appointment tomorrow, and if you're new to the channel, basically I broke my arm, or broke a bone right in the elbow about 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks today I broke it. So I've been off work, should be going back to work next week, hospital appointment tomorrow, so hopefully we'll have a chat with the doctor. It's still very achy, especially once I get up and start doing stuff. It is really quite achy. However, having said that, it is a lot less painful than it was 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, even 2 weeks ago. And I am reducing the amount of painkillers I'm taking, so all that is good. It's definitely healing, I actually think knitting has been really helpful for that because it's kept me moving my arm, but there is definitely a difference as well though, because when I'm knitting with it, I've got like a cushion underneath my elbow and supports me. A couple of days ago I went up to one of my local yarn stores, or yarn shops, Nibbles, Needles and Hooks, which is a lovely shop up in Derbyshire, and I took some knitting up there. And sitting at a table like that where my arm wasn't supported, I found it was making my arm ache, so I borrowed a blanket and wrapped that up and kind of tucked that under, which helped, but I definitely couldn't knit for as long a period of time as I have been when I've been sitting at home. Yeah, so there you go. I have got some finished objects to show you though, so that is exciting. I have got new cast-ons. I suddenly decided that I needed to knit lots of Christmas gifts as well. Don't know how many of those are going to get done, but we shall see. And once I'm back at work, obviously my knitting time will reduce again. And this week as well, assuming I'm going back to work next week, then this week I need to start getting my head back into work mode and getting prepared for going back to work, because I'm a teacher, so it's not like I just walk back into work on Monday morning and pick everything up. I've got to work out where my classes I've got up to, and yeah, just get my head back into work mode. My brother is also coming up to visit me this week, which will be really nice as well, to spend a few days with him, so he's coming up to see us. Right, okay, let me show you some finished objects. Right, so this one was something I cast on over Christmas last year, and I was joining in with a make-along run by Ange from Yarn and Yarns, which she calls the 12 cast-ons of Christmas, and this was one of the cast-ons that from that make-along, and it is a beautiful colourwork cowl. I really love how this has turned out. There are some ends to weave in, but here are my floats, which I don't think are too bad. There's the odd one that's come a bit loose or whatever, but generally speaking, quite pleased with my floats. And I made a mistake when you cast it on. Where is that? Yeah, when you cast it on, you're supposed to start with this as ribbing, and for some reason I didn't. I started with that and knitted it all just in stocking stitch rather than ribbing, and then you go back, pick up where you've cast on and do what's it called an I-cord, bind off or cast off. So what I did was when I picked it back up, I actually did a few rows of rib there just in this colour before doing the I-cord cast off. I have weaved in some of the ends, but I still have a few to do. Some of them I weaved in as I went, but it wasn't always possible to do that. It depended what the pattern was. So I have blocked it though, and that has stopped it from curling up there. I think a lot of the ends that are there now will get perhaps knotted and stuff. I haven't really tried it on though. Let's see what it's like. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love that. Now there is a hat and mittens that go with this set, as with this cowl as well. So I'm thinking I'm going to cast those on, possibly as part of the 12 cast-ons for this year. So yeah, there's some like fingerless mitts and like almost like a beret, a tam that goes with it. So I think I'm going to put those in the 12 cast-ons list. Maybe I'll cheat a bit and do the mitts as one day and the tam on another. I don't know. Anyway, this is knitted with Jamison and Smith 4-ply. The pattern is by Mary Henderson. I don't think I've brought... No, I haven't brought down the magazine. It's in the Knitter magazine from a couple of years ago. And the yarn, it says in the pattern, is the Mary Wallen yarn. But I sort of looked at the Mary Wallen colours and tried my best to match it with Jamison and Smith. Jamison and Smith 2-ply jumper. Now it's called 2-ply. It's not 2-ply weight, it's 2-ply because it's... I don't know what I'm doing here. 2 strands of yarn plied together. It's actually fingering weight / 4-ply weight. And it's 100% wool, and it's brilliant for colour work because it just sticks together really, really well. But oh, it is so, so beautiful. Absolutely love it. Might leave it on for a little bit. It is a little bit itchy. I have a coat though that is very similar colour to this, like a long, might even be a wool coat that is a similar colour to this, so it will go really nicely with that. Okay, so that's cast off or finished object number 1. Trying to think where it, when you last saw it, I was, that's the cast on edge, that's the cast off. So when you last saw it, I was somewhere around here, and I'd made a mistake and I had to rip back or tinker back a couple of rows. So it's taken me all year to finish this. I don't know which way up it's supposed to go. I'll have to look at the model, because there is a difference. It's got a wider, the cast, for some reason you increased the needle size when you got to the end, so you can actually see it does fan out. It's slightly narrower here and wider there, so I'm not sure which way round it's supposed to go. What do you think? Should the wider bit be at the bottom, or should the wider bit be at the top? Let me know what you think, because I don't know. I will have to have a look and see if I can work out which way the model is wearing it, although that's not necessarily a guarantee either though, is it? Anyway, so beautiful, beautiful cowl. It's called the Rothesay, just the Rothesay set, I think. And so it's in Knitter magazine. I'll try and find the Knitter magazine number and put all of that down on there. But oh, so proud of that. Really into colour work at the moment, so I've got quite a few colour work projects planned for next year. Right, second finished object. I think I just started this, possibly just started this, yes, the last time I podcast 2 weeks ago. And this is a Christmas present, and it is using some yarn that has been in my stash a long time. So the plan had been to do this cardigan, which includes a hood. However, when I started working on it, and you know, as you do, you get halfway through and you're like, how much yarn have I used? And I was like, I am not going to have enough yarn to do the hood on this as well. So this pattern, and it's King Cole 3626, also has the sweater pattern as well as the cardigan. So what I decided to do was do the collar for the sweater on the cardigan. So it took a little bit of working out. Also, my gauge wasn't quite spot on, and this is for my great niece, and she is like my girls, actually very slim but growing actually quite tall. So I kind of tried to customise it so that it's longer but thinner. So the chest size, my arm really is aching today. The chest size is age 3 to 4, but the length is more like 5 to 6. So I had to do quite a lot of working out, but here it is. Here it is. So it is in 100% Shetland wool, I think it is. Yes, because it is chunky Shetland chunky knit by Wendy. Now, as I say, this is, well, Wendy doesn't even exist anymore as a yarn company, I believe, and this has been in my stash over 10 years. And it probably was, and I bought it off of somewhere like eBay as somebody's D-stash. Not certain if it's superwash or not. It says 100% wool. It has got a 40-degree mark there. I mean, look, you can see how old it is by that number 7. You know that you don't use washing symbols like that anymore. It's not tumble dryable, which I would kind of expect. So yeah, I have warned my niece, the mum of the little girl that it's going to, and she's a knitter and whatever, and I said, you know, with it being wool, it's not going to need washing a huge amount anyway, depends how dirty she gets it. But she was like, I'm quite happy to hand wash, and she said she's got a very gentle hand wash cycle on her washing machine as well. Okay, so yeah, really pleased with this. I must admit, I went on a little bit of a what's the word I want? I kind of went on a mission to get this finished this week because my brother is coming up to visit me. He will be able to take that back down to Devon. So I need to wrap it up because it is a Christmas present. Put the buttons on it. When did I finish it? I finished it Saturday. So I also had to do, I say, a few modifications. So I did the sleeves and then realised I had done the sleeve to the 3 and 4 length, and I was a bit worried that the sleeves were going to be a little bit short. So it got a garter stitch edge and it was just there, so I actually picked up the cast on and added some more rows of garter stitch. Now if it turns out obviously the sleeves are too long to begin with, the great thing with sleeves, you can just roll them back and they'll be absolutely fine. So I just added that extra bit of length onto the sleeves. So yay! So that is another finished object that will get taken into the house because I record my podcast in our office, and our office is at the bottom of the garden. The office is looking such a mess at the moment. I've just been trying to have a bit of a tidy up in here and have a bit of a clear out. That is going to have to continue, come back to it later this afternoon and a bit again tomorrow, because we are going to be changing things around in here. Some changes are going to happen in here over the next 12 months really, but starting this week. Right, okay, and then one more finished object is for the Socksy and You Know It make along or knit along. And the Socksy and You Know It knit along is a knit along that I have been working on all year. You are still welcome to join in. We still have a couple of months left, and I will be drawing a winner in a few minutes as well for the September socks. So the Socksy and You Know It make along, basically what I did at the beginning, but this time last year, what did I do? I picked out 12 skeins of yarn, all commercial, no, not all commercial, all self-striping yarn. Nearly all had purple in it as well. And I wrapped them up and then numbered them randomly between 1 and 12. I say randomly, I made sure that number 7 and number 12 were Christmas ones. Apart from that, they were just as they were. And I numbered them, and then at the beginning of each month open up a packet, and as I say, apart from July and December, they're a little bit of a surprise of what they were, and then knit myself a pair of socks. And then I've just been using 2.5mm needles and 60 stitch cast on, because I'm doing these in plain stocking stitch vanilla. Normally when I'm doing like a pattern sock or whatever, I usually use 2.25mm and 64 stitches, but this seems to be working absolutely fine. So when you saw these 2 weeks ago, all I had done was the ribbing, and I have found that these do knit up quickly, because one, it's just stocking stitch, and two, on the slightly bigger needle, slightly fewer stitches, they knit up quite quickly. So I can get my Socks and You Know It socks done in 2 weeks, slightly less than 2 weeks if needed, while I'm still working on other things as well. So the yarn, so here I just to prove that I have got both, they match beautifully. Yarn was a gift, or the self-striping yarn was a gift from Nancy. Now I said about everything having purple, this is, it's hard to tell on the screen, but it is a very, very dark purple. The green is just a Regia, and then so this is a gift to me from Nancy a couple of years ago. They are fabulous. Now I am not wearing them, haven't worn them yet, because they are going in my box, because all the socks that I have knitted this year, and the Socksy and You Know It make along or knit along, have been going into a box. Oh, look at that, so pleased with all of these. So these are all my socks for the year. January, February, March, April. I'm just thinking that was another Christmas colourway as well, because that was vintage tinsel. April, May, June, July, Christmassy ones, August, September. I believe I had meant to put those ones, with them being a rainbow, I think I'd had meant to put those in to do in June, when it's Pride month. So anyway, these will go in here for October, and I'll show you in a minute my new cast on for the November socks. So if you'd like to join in with the Socksy and You Know It make along, you are still more than welcome to. If you cast on a pair of socks during October, there is still time to finish those and enter them. We're doing all entries through Ravelry or email. If you email me, so I'm just thinking, that's fine, I am up to date with the September ones. If you email me your finished socks, let me know which month you started them in, I can enter them onto the Ravelry page for you. So we leave the entries open for 2 months. So if you started a pair of socks in October, if you finish them by the end of November, you can enter them into the October thread on the Ravelry page. The link to the Ravelry group is down below. If you start a pair in November, then if you finish them by the end of December, put them into the November page thread, which is open. I have opened that thread. So we are going to draw a winner, alright, and in fact we're going to draw 2 winners today. We are going to do 2 giveaways. We are going to do one for the September, and also there's lots of you chatting away on the chatter thread, and I'm really sorry that I've not been chatting on there as well myself this year, or these last few months. But there is a chatter thread as well, so we're going to do 2 draws because, right, let's see. Okay, so we the way that I've been working the giveaway as well is, if you are an international winner, you will win a pattern prize of up to, I think I said £7 or £8, around that. And our last winner was international, and she picked a gorgeous pair of socks, actually, pattern prize. I think they're called the Jolly Holly socks by This Handmade Life. So I have gifted that pattern. If you are a UK winner, then you will get this yarn posted to you, probably Europe as well. So if it's UK or Europe, then I will post it to you, because postage is about £7 or £8. If it's the USA, Canada, Australia, then postage is more like £12, and it just gets a lot more expensive. Although technically I'm monetized on the YouTube channel, I still haven't had any money come through yet. You have to earn a certain amount of money before Facebook sends you any, YouTube sends you any money anyway. So yeah, so I haven't been I have been monetized allegedly, but I haven't earned enough money. Guys, watch the ads, okay? don't skip through the ads. Oh, and if you are a YouTube premium subscriber, then excuse me, YouTubers do get money from you watching as well. I'm not sure how it works out, but a tiny few pence. Anyway, right, so we have got, if we get, so we're going to do draw two winners, all right, and these are the two prizes, if they are UK or Europe. All right, if you're Europe, it might depend exactly where in Europe you are as to whether I can post it or not. We'll just check the postage prices. Right, okay, stop wittering. There are 47 people who have entered. There are 47 people who have entered that thread, so we will ask the smart speaker. I always edit out when I'm actually saying the smart speaker's name so it doesn't affect yours. Okay, so choose a number between 1 and 47.
Here's a number between 1 and 47. It's 16.
Okay, so let's go to number 16 on the winner's thread. And that is Judy Knits. And Judy has knitted there, it says, the first of the Christmas gift socks. Well done, Judy. And let's see where Judy is. She's in the UK. Okay, so Judy, well done. I will get in touch with me and I will be posting this sock yarn to you. This is Fabel print. The colourway is 911. It is really lovely actually. It is a nice, but I am trying to de-stash. Yeah, the knit more than I buy this year, still not going well. I will show you later some acquisitions, still not going well. Okay, now I also said then that we'll pull a winner out of the chatter thread as well. So let's go to the chatter thread. Now the chatter thread has 644 posts. Okay, so choose a number between 1 and 644.
Here's a number between 1 and 644. It's 534.
Okay, 534. So 534 is Lynn Clary, and she is replying. So somebody had commented on her socks and she replied, thank you, the last of my tiny human knits. Yeah, let me see if I can work out which pair of socks. Yeah, so it was in reference to those socks. Then somebody had commented on them, and then Lynn had commented back. So Lynn, I think Lynn may have won before. I can't see, I've got a feeling she may be in the States. So if she is, I will be sorting she might be in the States or in Canada. If she is, I will be sorting a pattern prize for her, and we'll draw that again for the podcast in 2 weeks' time to post that one out. So we will be posting that, and then Lynn, if you, depending on where you are, Lynn, you might be getting this one. If you're not getting that, you'll be getting a pattern, and we'll draw another winner for that one next time. Okay, hope that all makes sense. So yeah, I will be sharing updates on the stash acquisition this year. Yes, not that I bought lots this year, this last couple of weeks, but I have bought a bit. Okay, so I think those are all my finished objects. So shall we have a look at works in progress? We will. So actually, if I can get this finished, this project finished before the end of the year, this is about 4,000 metres worth of yarn. And I think that's the only thing that's motivating me. I am enjoying it, that's not strictly true. So this is the log cabin blanket called Logalicious by Louise Tilbrook. And I believe I could Not sure which one I was working on last time. I was working on one of these squares last time you saw these. So I've finished off one square, done 2 squares basically, completed 2 squares of this since you last saw it. So, but I can't remember which one I was working on when you last saw it. So I've done that square. And I have done that square. Now, the Logalicious blanket pattern is basically 4 different types of squares that are all come under kind of log cabin squares. And the way I decided to do it was I decided to do 9 squares, 3, 3, 3. So I'm doing 4 of these as corner squares, and I've got them using different colours. And then I will have 4 of these as the middle squares, but the very, very centre square, I think I'm going to do a different pattern. So I'm using scraps for this. I say I'm using scraps. The cream I did buy specifically to do some kind of scrap blanket. I wanted to do a scrap blanket, but I wanted cream as a colour for edging the squares or whatever, however I did it. So I bought this at the beginning of the year. I think I got 7 balls of this, which again is probably quite vintage. Got it off of eBay. I do love trying to find bargains. So what's it called? Motorovia, machine washable, 4-ply wool. You can tell again, yeah, you can tell again that it's vintage. So that's been on each square that I do. We make sure we've got some bits in cream. And hopefully if I've got enough of the cream yarn left, I will do a little bit of edging in the cream. I'm saying hopefully because I've got 2 full balls left, and then kind of these part balls. So if I've used, what have I used? I've probably used, yeah, I think I will have enough because I've used probably, if I said I had 7 balls to begin with, 2, that's probably, I've probably used about 4 balls and I'm about 2/3 of the way through. So hopefully I will have enough, even if it's just crochet round a couple of rounds of crochet around the edge. If not, I could probably just buy some more cream. It won't be exactly the same, but if it's a border, it probably won't matter. I'm holding all of this yarn, I'm holding all of the yarn double, so it's knitting up. It's using up a lot of yarn and knitting up quite quickly. Takes me about a week to do each square. I've started square number 8. Here it is. Ooh. Here is square number 8. This will be another corner one, I think. I think this is another corner one. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, this is square number 7. Yeah, this is square number 7, which is a corner one. And then square number 8 will be more pinks and darker pinks. And yeah, so it really has been good for using up scraps. Scraps and some advent minis I've been given in an advent swap last year. And I think, and my husband actually, he came and sat on the sofa where I do my crafting, and this one of the squares was on the back of the sofa, and he was like, oh, I like the feel of that. And I was like, do you? And he's like, yeah, I like that. And yeah, he seemed to think that it was quite nice. So I got out all the squares I've done so far and laid them out. And he was like, yeah, okay. And he thought it would be a rug. And I was like, no, I don't think it would be a rug. The dog's claws will get caught on it. Talking of the dog, lots of you commented on Stu last podcast when he was on Squirrel Watch with me down here. He was down here in the office with me just before I started filming, and he was already being a bit of a pain looking out for the squirrels. But then there was the doorbell rang, and we went up to answer the doorbell, and then he went back in the house at that point. So, But I have filmed a little bit of him this morning in the autumn leaves in the side of our house. So I'll put that at the end of the video because lots of you wanted more pictures or video of Stu, my little dog. So at the end of the video I will add that on. Right, okay. Okay, so now we have another work in progress, and what I have been trying to do is I've been trying to clear some of the 12 days of Christmas cast ons, or the 12 cast ons of Christmas from last year, hence the reason why I finished that cowl. And this is the only other thing that's going to hopefully get finished, because the one of the other ones that I cast on was the rocket tee, and it's not, I'm not happy with the colours I picked, so that's going to get frogged. But so this is the last one of the 12 cast-ons that I'm hoping to finish before the end of the year and before I start casting on new ones. And this was the Limewash shawl, which is by Penny Baker Knits. And so where I've got that big stitch marker, that is where I had got to, and I think really I got up to there quite quickly, maybe actually when I first cast it on the first day. So I have picked this back up and been working on it, and let's just move the progress keeper. This is a really, really nice pattern, and it makes, I think it's an asymmetric shawl. Now I have just reached the point where we finished increasing. I couldn't find a picture pattern that actually shows the shape, the full shape of the shawl laid out properly, so it's hard to describe. But now what I believe we're going to do is we're going to keep increasing on the grey but start decreasing on the stripes. So I can't really remember exactly what shape this shawl is. As I say, it doesn't really show on the pattern either. The yarn I'm using for this is it's DK weight yarn, and I had 2 skeins of this, which is, I think, West Yorkshire Spinner. West Yorkshire Spinner, the Croft yarn, which is DK, 100% wool. This colourway is Clate, which is 1152. So it is the Croft Shetland wool, made in association with Jamison and Smith, and it also says curated by Sarah Hatton. So that's what I'm using for the grey, and it's not merino, it's Shetland wool, but it's not bad, so you know, it's not too toothy. And then the contrasting colours is Serdar Haworth Tweed, and we have 3 colours. We have the orange, blue and a very dark purple, and I really, really like those colours together. And again, it feels like it's quite autumnal, so who knows, might be able to wear it next year. Now the only thing is I can't remember, I've got the labels, but the question is which label goes with it. Right, so that's okay. This one, this purple, is Hezzard Bilberry, which is 0905. It's useful when the colourway names make sense. This is Rydale Russet, so I'm going to guess that one's the Russet, and that is 0907. Okay, but I am really sorry, I don't seem to have the last label for this one. And I don't know if I've put it into Ravelry. So apologies on that. No, definitely not in there. Had a good search through. I haven't got the colourway name label for the blue. So the plan, or the aim, is to have this finished by the end of the year. even by the middle of December maybe, ready to cast on lots of new projects. And I have been gathering together the yarn and patterns for all the cast ons that I want to do for next year, which is a ridiculous number. But yeah, I'm trying to get myself organised and putting together the patterns and the actual yarn needed for each pattern. Yes, a big pile of bags over there. Okay. So now we come to new cast ons. Yes. So I have cast on, with it being the beginning of November, I have cast on the socks for November. So these are being knitted with yarn by the Yarn Badger. Now you can see it's a sparkly label, and it is indeed a sparkly yarn. It is Hydrangea, which is Superwash Merino Sparkle, 20% nylon, and so it must be 80% Merino Sparkle, 20% nylon, and it is 4-ply, bring weight, and it comes in two 50-gram skeins. So wound those, managed to wind it myself this time. The October socks I had to get somebody else to wind for me, and this is how they are knitting up. Let's pull that over. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? If we do it that way, I can see why I bought this yarn. I bought this at a yarn show. I think it was at Buxton Yarn Show in 2023. So I don't know that you can see the sparkle. You can see a little bit of sparkle there. So let me just move the progress keeper. So I started these on the 1st of November. I am ready to do the heel flap now. I do about 6 inches for my leg, because I like my knitted socks to have quite a long leg on them. So I do about 6 inches for the leg, and then I will be doing the heel flap and gusset. I'm not using any contrasting yarn with this one, just going to stick with, because I didn't have any contrasting yarn that I particularly felt went with it, not just colour wise but the type of yarn, because it's a relatively high twist on this. And I just didn't feel like I'd got anything that went with it colour wise and with kind of like a high twist to it. But it's beautiful, isn't it? So as I said before, this is 2.5mm needles, because it's my Socksy and you know it for November. I do 2x2 rib for 10-12 rows, depends, usually about 10 or 12 rows. And then onto the leg, as I say, I do about 6 inches in total. I measure that using my needles, because my needles are 6 inches, so I measure it using my needles. And then the second sock I will match with the colours, so I will start the heel flap when I get to the same stripe. That's a great thing actually with stripy socks. Once you've done one, you can just use, because I try usually to match them, so you can then just count how many stripes you've done. Oh, it must be time for some more painkillers. Arm is definitely aching today. It's aching along here today. The aches change. Sometimes it's my wrist that aches more, sometimes it's up here that aches more. Today it's along here. Anyway, so yes, that is the yarn for November for the Socksy socks, and they are on the needles. Woohoo! More new cast ons. So, as I said, I'm planning on knitting a few Christmas presents. I've already done the red cardigan. My daughter, her boyfriend, I can't now remember actually if he requested these or whether I just offered and asked him if he'd like some socks. But her boyfriend, I am knitting him some socks, and I am using this yarn. This is going to make me sound like a real cheapskate, isn't it? But I got this yarn in a charity shop for £1. It makes me sound like a real cheapskate. The original price on it is £7.50 from wherever, and it is Schoeller and Stahl, so presumably a German sock wool. Don't know what it is, but we always seem to think like Regia, Opal. I often think that Germans make good sock yarn, and it is Fortissima Soccer in Mexico colour, and in fact the colourway, colour number 9048, and the colourway title is Best of Mexico. Machine washable, felt free, hard wearing, and I'm also using for heels, toes and cuffs, a contrasting, which I think is Drops. It's a Drops Fabel. Don't know what colourway. And this is how it's knitting up. Now I haven't put this on a sock blocker because it is very big. I'm doing this on 2.5mm needles and 72 stitches because when I asked him if he wanted a pair of wool socks, Amelia sort of said, oh, you know, you might, I don't like them because I don't like the feel of them on my feet. Her boyfriend works outdoors. He's a labourer, joiner, so he works outdoors quite often, and so he said he would like to be able to wear them over his normal socks, so that's why I have done them a little bit bigger. So there's 72 stitches on 2.5mm needles, and then his shoe size is similar to my husband's, so I got him to try them on over a pair of normal socks, commercial socks. So we should be fine. What I haven't done is weighed it. I'm pretty sure I've still got over 50 grams left to be able to do the second sock. So yeah, it's actually coming out really nicely. As I said, I will work out and wind off so that I start at the same place, so that they are actually a matching pair. That shouldn't be too tricky because I'm only going to have to wind off. So I've just finished the toe there, and you can see I started the leg there, so I'm just going to be winding off that much section, so that's not too bad. And I've weighed this. I had 26 grams of this left because, again, I wasn't 100% sure if 20 grams would be enough to do heels, toes and cuff on a bigger size. So I've got 26 grams of this, so it should be fine. And that was just out of stash from another pair that I've knitted a while ago. Can't remember when. And they will be a gift, so I will be using one of my awesome ball bands. I have got some Christmassy ones, haven't I, which are in the house. Somebody was asking about where I got these from, so these are from Tilly Flop Designs, and she has got, I'm trying to think if it's Etsy, if she's on Etsy or if she's got her own website. Pretty sure she's on Etsy, so it's Tilly Flop Designs, and she sells quite a few different fun things for knitters. Postcards, these are some of the postcards that she do. So she does postcards, ball, like sock ball bands, car stickers, greetings cards for knitters and crocheters, stickers I think as well. I said that, well, car stickers and other types of stickers. So yeah, anyway, so these socks for Ben, one sock finished, so we'll be casting on the second sock for that today. That will go in the list of today. What I tend to do is I do a little bit on lots of different projects each day. I'm not a monogamous knitter, never have been. I'm not really, I was going to say I'm not really monogamous in anything, but that sounds terrible. Don't read it like that. Books, I have 2 or 3 books on the go when I'm reading. I'm just not very good at doing one thing at a time. Yeah. Right, I promised myself that if I finished that cowl that I could cast on something new as well. and I got gifted a lovely pattern by Jules at Yarndale. Well, I saw Jules at Yarndale and she was wearing a really lovely shawl with a little bit of brioche in it. It's called All About the Brioche, and after I had said how much I liked it, when I got home I saw I had a message on Ravelry and she had gifted me the pattern. And I spent quite a lot of time again looking at my stash, trying to decide on 2 yarns to put together. And actually I picked out 2 yarns of my own, Little Likac yarn, and these were both from the mystery sock club that I ran in, this I think will be 2022, which was the fairy tale one. Now I've got to be honest and say I can't remember the colourway names. I cannot, because what I used to do when I did the yarn, I would label them for the ones that I was posting out and sold, and my own, the ones that I kept, I didn't label them, so I can't remember the colourway names. But these are the 2 colours that I chose because I thought there was enough contrast between them. I picked out 2 or 3 other combinations, but didn't feel they had enough contrast, or they were on slightly different bases and I wanted to use the same base. This is the Little Likac luxury base, which is 85% wool, 15% nylon. It's just so soft to wear on your neck and around your face. You want to see how I'm getting on with the brioche? Ta-da! We haven't got to the brioche yet. So this pattern is really lovely. I think it's a good beginner's pattern for brioche. So you knit a lot in one block of one colour, then you do a brioche section in the middle, and then you knit the rest in the second colour. And the brioche section is 2 colour brioche. I started having a look at a few YouTube videos in preparation, so I've got the general idea of what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, so I'm just working on this section at the moment. The stitch marker down there was to tell me which is the right side. So I'm just going to move that, oh, progress keeper, so I'm just going to move that up now. And I will put that back in the bag. I am exhibiting at a yarn show in, is it 2 weeks time or 3 weeks time? 3 weeks time. Ideally I would like to have that finished for that yarn show. I'm using 3.5mm needles, just some Addy fixed ones. So we'll see. I don't know. I would like to have, if the brioche section goes well, then hopefully I will have that finished. Oh my goodness, I've just seen the time. I need to crack on, don't I? Right, this was not a planned cast on. This was spontaneous. So Arne and Carlos run a knit along. I don't know how many years they've been doing it. Kind of like an advent knit along, normally in December, which is why I've never done it before, because in December I'm usually too busy doing lots of other things to think about this. But somebody in one of the chat groups I'm in mentioned that they were doing it in November this year, and it is to knit a Christmas stocking. It's not a sock to be worn, and in fact their socks that they're doing are using like, is it a DK weight yarn, so it's not a sock to be worn, it's just like a stocking for decoration. And the idea is you do so many rounds each day, just 6 rounds per day. And so a reason I haven't done this knit along in the past as well is because it's usually a toe up sock, and generally speaking I don't particularly like toe up socks. I find the cast on fiddly. Excuse me. But because this isn't a sock to be worn, the actual cast on for this was not like using a provisional cast on or anything awkward like that, and in fact there is a little bit to seam up at the end, but it doesn't matter because it's not to be worn. I'm just looking to see if I've dropped a stitch there. What's going on there? Anyway, so the colours that I'm using, they're doing it in a very traditional red, white and green. I decided to go with purples and pinks, and I did pull out I did originally pull out these 3 to use, but I'm not sure I'm going to use that one. Excuse me. I think I'm just going to stick with those 2. These are West Yorkshire Spinner Signature 4-ply. So I'm doing it in 4-ply rather than DK. I think I've already said that. This colourway is Blackcurrant Bomb. This colourway is Amethyst. I have been using these. Love them. I've been using them winding off yarn for heels, toes and cuffs for some of my Socksy socks. And then the white is a Regia. Just the Regia 4-ply sock yarn. And it's just a 50-gram ball of that. Pretty sure that's just 50 grams. But I'm only doing one. Now, I am really loving these colours, absolutely loving them. And I am going to put this up when it's finished, ready for Christmas. And it has made me think as well, because obviously I've got plenty of these 2 colours. It has made me think I might go back, potentially, I might go back and try and do some of the others as well. Some of their previous patterns in the same designs, or just make my own, do my own kind of, have got one of the doodle, not doodle packs, but a doodle Christmas stocking pattern anyway, so I might look at some of the charts on that. But yeah, absolutely loving how this has come out. So day 1 was cast. I should have done a spoiler alert. Anyway, day 1 was casting on the toe. Day 2 was this first bit in the dark purple. Day 3 was the pinky purple. So I'm doing these on 2.75mm needles. Again, gauge really doesn't matter on this because it is not to be worn, it is for decoration. But, and as I said, I'll put that back in with my other sock yarn because I don't think I'm going to add that pink in. I don't know. We'll see. It might be that I do the next bit and put that in that pink, and then we'll see what it looks like. Right. Oh, I've still got another new cast on to show you. So I had, when I first did my injury, I worked out fairly quickly I could knit because I don't move this arm, particularly when I knit, and I just move my hand kind of like that. So I worked out I could knit quite quickly, but I couldn't crochet, could not crochet, because crochet, I do more of that. And I can move my hand now to there, can't move it past there, but when I first broke my arm, I couldn't move it more than sort of like that. So I have been doing a little bit of crochet, not a huge amount. It does hurt to do it for more than, I don't know, half an hour or so. But I have got lots of leftover. So the Socks You Know It Make Along has been brilliant for using half a ball of all of this self-striping sock yarn. But I've got loads and loads left over, not just also from the Socks You Know It, but also from previous socks that I'd knitted anyway. And I've been trying to find something all year to do with this. And when I went to Yarndale, they had this blanket, which is absolutely gorgeous. And what they had done to make that blanket was they had held together 2 different of the Yarndale West Yorkshire Spinner self-striping yarn. They had used Nigel and no they hadn't, they'd used Hope and Barbara. And they said, you know, why not match 2 other balls. And I just thought, well, oh my gosh, you know, actually self-striping held together like that looks fabulous. So I went through my leftovers and put together all my self-striping commercial self-striping yarn, and a few others as well, like this one. Well, that one sort of stripes. There's a few in here. This one doesn't really stripe, but it will work in with the colours as well, because if you look at that and that, there's some, I don't know if that's the best example, but that and that, there's some colours to go. And what I'm doing, and what I like about this as well, is that you join as you go, so there's not a million squares to sew together at the end. and this is how it's coming out. And I'm really liking it. So what I'm doing, and I've even been weaving in some of the ends. These are the ones I did more recently. So what I'm doing is I'm holding together 2 strands of yarn, and then, so let's say I've used those 2 for 1 square, then the next square I take one of those out and then put in a different one, so the next square has still got the same yarn as the square previously, although to be fair the colours may be different. So then the next square will be these 2, and then I'll take that one away, and then the next square might be these 2, and then I'll take that one away, and the next square these 2. And I'm really loving it. Really, oh, that's the back. Really loving it. And from a distance, I think it works really well. So pleased that I finally found something to do with all my leftovers. So I'm not adding in the indie dyed stuff, it's just the commercial stuff. And it's getting, yeah. So as I can manage to do about 2 squares of it, and then that's enough for my wrist and hand at this point. But I only started that a week ago, and before that I couldn't crochet at all. So I'm measuring my wellness of my arm by how well I can knit and crochet, because that's what's important. Okay, so I think that leads me on now to acquisitions. I have been a very lucky girl because I've won a few giveaways, which has been fabulous. So I won a giveaway for a pattern by Dana Ray Makes, and I did choose a pattern which that's been gifted, and then I also won a giveaway for a skein of yarn and a pattern, which also reminds me though, actually I haven't received the pattern. The pattern should become electronically, and I don't think I've received that, so I do need to just perhaps, I don't think I sent them my details, forgetting that, so I sent them my postal address, but I didn't. Anyway, so I won this because somebody else tagged me. So you know when you get those things where it says tag you, tag a friend, and you and your friend will win. It was one of those. So the lovely Jane tagged me in an Instagram thread, and we got picked. We got chosen. So we won, and we won 2 skeins of this yarn, which is a very autumnal vibe. It's called Hello Pumpkin and Goblin. So Pumpkin and Goblin. So the company is Salty Blonde Fibres, and they're based in the US. And so I received this beautiful set, and it is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, relatively, well, I was going to say high twist. It's probably what they call the platinum base. It feels like it's that. Hand dyed in Colorado, salty blonde fibre. So yeah, fabulous. Now I've actually got both skeins of this at the moment because Jane, the lady who tagged me, she's away at the moment on holiday, and so we arranged for Salty Blonde to send both skeins to me, and when Jane gets back from holiday I will send her skein on to her. So I've won that as well. Amazing, really pleased with that. And then I saw a really lovely project bag, and somebody was running a giveaway for that, and she'd put a reel. Let me find her name because I don't want to just say somebody. Her Instagram name is Monique, but I don't want to say what her surname is. She's French Canadian, or Canadian. Monique Savoy. I'll write it down here. And you can follow her on Instagram. She makes lovely bags, and so the bag that I won, it was to do with Halloween and candy, and so they basically asked what was your favourite type of candy or chocolate bar, to which I replied actually at the moment it's Reese's peanut butter cups because I love those, and that was my winning comment. So thank you very much, Reese's. So that bag is on its way from Canada, so that's really exciting. So I've been so lucky. Dana Ray Makes is also a Canadian designer, so I've won a sock pattern, a skein of yarn and another sock pattern and a bag all in the last few weeks. All since I broke my arm, actually. So when I broke my arm, I just felt like I'd had such a run of bad luck. It really got me down, actually, because I'd damaged my car a week before in a completely unrelated incident. Then I broke my arm, and then I got a really nasty stomach bug, and it just felt like I had all sorts of bad luck. So I've done pretty well on the giveaways recently. And talking of giveaways, if you follow me on Instagram, look out for a very important big giveaway that is coming up in a couple of weeks. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, all I'm going to say is you probably will want to follow me, because I have got a collaboration with 2 other people. Don't want to say any more than that at the moment, but there will be an exciting giveaway coming up on Instagram in a couple of weeks' time. Right, okay, so other acquisitions. This is a little bit convoluted. Sorry that this is such a long podcast. So other acquisitions. My husband had suggested a Lego set that he wanted for Christmas, and the Amazon link that he sent, the set was about £55, something like that, between £55 and £60. And I thought, oh, before I order it, let me just have a quick look and see if anywhere else has got the same one reduced. Well, that was already reduced, but I thought, I'll just have a look. And John Lewis had it at a much cheaper price, £35. And I double checked and triple checked it's the same set, and it is. So I was like, £35, that's a big saving. And then with John Lewis, you don't get free shipping unless it's over £50. So it's going to be a £5 for shipping, so it took it up to 40 quid. But then I was like, well, what else is there from John Lewis that I might be able to get for Christmas gifts? So there's something that my daughter wants and uses, etc. And I had a look for that, found it, and that was another £9. Added that on, still hadn't made it up to 50 quid. I thought, does John Lewis still sell yarn? Do they do yarn online? Well, yes, they do. And as we know, I'm trying not to buy lots of yarn, but I had a look, and they had got West Yorkshire spinners, and they had got only a few, but they had got this one reduced, and it was a previous Christmas one, and it's the Nutcracker one. Now, I wasn't particularly bothered about this because it's not really kind of my colours, but I did think my husband. So I was planning on knitting him a pair of Christmas socks anyway, so I thought I will get this and knit him. I don't know if he wants sparkly socks though. Anyway, so I thought I will get him this, and this just took me over the £50. Took me to about £51. I was like, awesome. So I got 3 Christmas presents effectively for less than what the original Christmas present would have cost. But obviously I need to cast those on. They are going to be for Christmas. However, as I mentioned before, I was at Nibbles, Needles and Hooks a couple of days ago, and I saw the West Yorkshire Spinner colourway for this year, which is called Yuletide. And I thought it was really nice. And I thought that was another possibility for my husband. Maybe these are a bit more autumnal. And then I thought, well, what colour could I put with it? So I got those. But in my defence, look, that would also go with the Nutcracker as well, wouldn't it? So which one shall I cast on for Christmas for my husband? So this one is called Yuletide, and there's a picture here of what it looks like knitted up, and I got this as a freebie, a free pattern from Winnick Mum. So tell me down below, do you think I should cast on Nutcracker or Yuletide? Which one for my husband for Christmas this year? If I went with this one, it's the most up to date, so that would be quite fun. To actually knit something that is, you know, current. Yeah, so what do you think? Or do you think that I could knit that for his birthday for next year? Because his birthday is in the autumn. And so do you think they're more autumnal and they should be birthday socks for him for next year? So yeah, vote down below or leave me a comment saying whether you think it should be the Yuletide or the Nutcracker. And also just reassure me that you think sparkly socks on a man for Christmas is fine. So I will not be casting those on for a couple of weeks, I don't think anyway. So yeah, you've got till the next podcast to let me know which will be about 2 weeks' time. Let me know which one you think I should cast on, Yuletide or Nutcracker, for my husband. Right, and also while I was up there Nibbles, Needles and Hooks, I had a quick look through the pattern books as well, because I wanted to find a plain V-neck cardigan pattern. Now this is not new yarn, I've had this yarn for about a year or so, but I'm really desperate to knit a plain cardigan in this yarn that will just be great for work. And so I had a quick look and found this pattern. Nice sort of simple V-neck cardigan. The actual yarn they've used there is Spirit DK. I've checked the yardage, should be okay. I am planning on using this, the Hayfield soft twist DK, which is 100% acrylic, I'm sure. This colourway is Damson. Oh, 90% acrylic, 10% wool actually. Yeah, so this colourway is Damson. I think I've got 6 balls of this, which will be enough to knit this cardigan in my size. Yay! So that's going on the list for next year. Oh my gosh, I've got another new cast on. Cardigan for my daughter. Another Christmas gift. It was talking about cardigans. So yeah, when I've got this cardigan finished, I might allow myself to cast on that purple cardigan. This is the Anyday. Yeah, Anyday cardigan, which I have knitted for my daughter before. All I have done so far is cast it on really. It is knitted in one piece up to the sleeves. So all these stitch markers are for your increases. Yeah, increases, and also it will actually be this way round. It's worn with the pearl side on the outside, and then you kind of have these fake seams that you do, which are really cool actually. So yes, sorry about that, I suddenly forgotten about it. So this is knitted in just an acrylic DK Emu Classic, which I showed you last time in the colourway Biscotti. So that is an actual request from my daughter, not necessarily for Christmas, she just requested another one of these cardigans, so I thought I would try and get it done for Christmas. So now that I finished Bryony's cardigan, this is going to go into the rotation pile as well and get knitted on a bit more as well. Oh goodness me, I told you this, I cannot believe how long this podcast is today. I am looking around because really honestly I think that is everything to show you. So much to show you. I have started picking out my colours for the sock along for next year, so I think I'm going to record a separate video where I'm going to show those and get them all wrapped up ready for January, because if I get them wrapped up now during November, by the time it gets to January I will have forgotten what I have picked and they will be a nice surprise like they were this year. Right, that is it. I am going. If you've won one of my prizes, please get in touch with me so we can get those out to you. And thank you for watching. Please do like, comment, and if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. If you are subscribed, also if you click on the little bell sign on the YouTube, then it will notify you when I have put up a new video. Right, I'm going. Thank you so much for watching.